Productions.
Lastly, to my friend Charlie Kirk. Rest now, brother. We have the watch, and I'll see you in Valhalla.
Things are going to start happening to me now.
I think Tyler is amazing.
And I'm a fan of this show. I've watched several episodes.
Thank you, Tyler. Thank you, Tyler. You stink, Tyler.
Never promise crazy a baby.
Oh, I like that. That's a cool idea.
Are either of you homosexuals?
I go both ways. What do you think?
You mean like flaming or?
No, we're not homosexual, but we are willing to learn.
But I do wonder, for others, in other cases, whether libertarianism today is just an excuse for many on the right to act selfishly.
Look at me. And then some fat asses in Washington started having opinions. The Olympic Committee started having opinions. You bitch, I know you. You started writing your opinions.
And it just makes me wonder, you're dead, bitch. You know, why are you doing this to this poor guy?
I don't care. I'm a libertarian. What I'm getting is,
Did you vote for Joe Jorgensen or Trump?
Who?
Joe Jorgensen. That was the perfect answer. Thank you.
Welcome, everybody. LPR. Do you recognize this music? This is Tyler Yonke. We're doing the disco version. No, this is 80s version of Teen Spirit. It sounds like the band Camouflage, if you ask me. All right, so we'll see if we get copyright struck with that. Evening, boys. Eddie's in the chat, always coming in hot. We love it. Hope you had a good week. We've had some fun times. I'm gonna pull up one other thing here so I can see all the chat coming in if I need it. So yeah, this is smells like Teen Spirit. If it was an 80s version, I don't even know. I love it. I think it's solid. There we go. Okay, everybody. This is let's just mellow out a bit. We'll give everyone a little bit of a chance to come in. We'll play a few little things. There's a lot going on. I did the legal show, and I thought it went well. So why don't you guys tell your friends about it? Like, subscribe. Once again, get involved on the ban Photoshop. Get involved in the Substack so you know when we're going live. I sent a notice out, so you should be able to get it. And here we are. Okay. I thought I'd play a few things, but we're gonna play Josh Hammer's response to Candace and get ready for it's wild. It's wild. But I thought before this came across my I don't know who this lesbian is, but actually, let's see here. Is it? Can we show that in a little better? I guess maybe I need to adjust this a bit. This person, I guess, is a pastor, and they wanted to say some things about Charlie Kirk's death. So here we go. Let's play along and see what they say.
No, Israel did not kill Charlie Kirk. Satan did.
Okay.
And God allowed it.
Oh.
For reasons that we may never know. But here's what I do know. When I tell you something, there is something I have had my finger on the pulse of this nation for 5 years. I told you what the problem was. They were turning him in.
Okay.
They were Tucker and him were like this. They were turning Charlie against God's chosen people. And God said, no, not today. No. You're too pure and you have too much influence. So I'm going to bring you before Satan can use you. I'm going to let your testimony for the rest of your life be all the positive things you have said about Israel that's on record. See, now there are no videos of him except one where he started questioning Israel. Everything else is all positive Israel. And isn't that funny? That's all that's left in the collective archive.
So this guy's like, look, he was turning. There's a few videos out there. God had to stop him. God had to kill him. What's crazy about this, and this is what I posted up there, which is, by the way, I hope everyone's, I haven't seen anybody in Rumble yet. God said, you know what, October 7th, these are my chosen people. I'm going to do everything I can to make sure they're safe. October 7, we're good with that. Charlie Kirk, we have to kill. That is some of the most batshit crazy stuff you can possibly ever come up with. I didn't even understand. By the way, this, maybe we should just go along the line. This guy, the video's been released of the guy, the dash cam video of this, the pedo, I guess. I haven't watched it yet. Maybe I'll have to bring that up. So I don't have the link right here with me yet, but we will find it at some point. So I will get that going as well. Okay. Is there anything else? I did have a few clips here of Gavin Newsom and Nick, what's his name? Nick Fuentes. So let me see if I have one of these. Let's see. Let's start with this one. I don't even know what this is. I don't remember. I recorded these off my phone, so it's a little wonky.
To meet Motley Crue, and you wearing a shirt that says Motley Crue suck. Your backstage pass is revoked.
Yeah, but they're not saying America sucks. They're protesting Israel, and they're getting bounced for that. And you're saying, well, we need to do that because I'm saying, like, if someone beats up a Jewish student, arrest that person. If they're on a visa, deport that person. But to go in and say, we're going to literally just break apart free speech on this issue.
I was trying to remember why I recorded this. And this had to do with people on campus. So that's what he's like. He's like, hey, you've got a visa. You're coming to America. You've got a visa. And so he was equating it to the, you've got a t-shirt of a band and you're going backstage and it says, you guys suck, so we're kicking you out. And I think Nick actually, the equivalences here, or the equating these things as similes, don't always match up. And this is so prime. And we're going to talk about this a little bit today, which is Israel and being a Jew don't have to be synonymous. This is a country. And by the way, they're not America. And then even, we'll finish it off here because I think Gavin messes up and says we.
You're right. And this would be, you'd be much more right 20 years ago.
I guess not.
He thinks that, maybe not you because you're pro-Israel, but he thinks people like me, he loves you. He thinks people like me should be isolated, ostracized, kicked out.
So for you to say from the river to the sea on Twitter, Joel Pollack would want you to be banned.
Not specifically that, but me being someone that says Jews shouldn't have power in America. He would say, you got to go. You got to be censored, isolated. You got to go. And by the way, Elon did ban that from the river to the sea. And I didn't see any right-wing Jews stand up and say, don't ban that. We need free speech.
Oh, I bet Ron Coleman would be totally against that.
Ron Coleman, he don't like me.
Yeah, well, they're...
Okay. I don't even remember. Other than Ron Coleman, I probably got that. I'm trying to remember why I even clipped these off. Do some of the work, and then I don't remember. Clip that off. I think it's because Ron Coleman, I did a video of him talking about, he's so outrageous with anti-Semitic stuff. What I mean by that is you just look wrong at someone's, like the fact that this is titled The Hebrew Hammer, which is named after a movie about like a Jewish superhero, basically. The fact that it's named that would probably be anti-Semitic to him. So that's crushing that kind of stuff. Okay, you know what? Let's move on to what I really want to talk about here, and it's the Josh Hammer response to Candace Owens, and some of it's Candace talking about these tweets that he had done. But I think the first thing let's do is recall when Candace came out and actually was able to. I don't want the closed caption here, and release the group text.
And others knew that Charlie was done with Israel bullying him, and I'm now going to present you proof of what I am saying. This is an actual group chat, which happened 2 days before.
I don't have the clips of what Josh was saying beforehand, but it goes along with that professor or a Toto guy or whatever the pastor was saying there, which was someone dies. And the whole reason this came about is because, once again, Netanyahu all these losers go out there and they paint a narrative that some people behind the scenes are going, excuse me, this is not how it is. Why are you doing this? And if they hadn't have done that, if you just honored Charlie's life and memorialized him after his death, you wouldn't be having all this kind of stuff. And if you did, if people were coming out on the Candace side, screaming to the things about him, things that weren't public, then perhaps the other side would be pushing back. But you didn't have it. You had an all-out onslaught of the dishonesty to begin with.
Charlie Kirk was assassinated. There were 9 people in total on this chat, including Charlie and Rob McCoy. I'm going to protect the names of the other 7 for now. To be clear, I might actually release a name every day this week, but I want to show you this because suffice it to say, Rob McCoy was on this text thread, and I think it helps contextualize him as a person, in my view, that he would attack me for telling the truth about the pressure that he was facing. Take a look. So Charlie writes in this group chat, just lost another huge Jewish donor, $2 million a year because we won't cancel Tucker. I'm thinking of inviting Candace. Somebody writes, oh. Charlie writes, Jewish donors play into all of the stereotypes. I cannot and will not be bullied like this, leaving me no choice but to leave the pro-Israel cause. Then somebody writes, a donor writes, please do not invite Candace. That might feel good short term, but it's not good long term, in my opinion. Like all groups, you're going to get a wide variety of opinions. That nasty free will thing that God bestowed on us makes life frustrating at times after the dust settles a bit, maybe. So again, this is 48 hours before Charlie was assassinated. He was very clear and he was very explicit, and he did not back down, not in that Hamptons meeting, which they're all lying about, nor in this text thread. I'm not going to reveal the names of the other 7. Actually, you know what? I disagree with myself 4 seconds ago. Let's just throw in Josh Hammer for funsies. He's on this chat, okay? So what are we to make of that? Okay, now that I'm showing you this and showing to you that the conversations were real, I want you to reflect, and it took me a lot of patience to allow the lies that were being woven and the misrepresentations of people that were pretending that I was just, high on lying about Charlie and the pressure he was under, the attacks that not just me, Tucker Carlson, Megyn Kelly faced for trying to stand up and tell the truth about what Charlie was actually going through. Why are you hearing it, though, from me and Tucker Carlson and Megyn Kelly? Isn't that weird? You got people that are hosting a show. Have they, in like one honorable thing, come out and said, like, you know what? F a couple of these donors who made his life a living hell over the last couple of weeks. Why haven't they done that? There's also a rabbi in that chat. Like, why hasn't anybody made that move to at least say, to vindicate what I have been saying about what he was going through? That registers to me as very suspicious. I'm going to frankly say that. It's suspicious to me. It makes me think.
Okay, so there you go. That's the setup. That's the setup. Now, what I do want to look at, and I don't know why Bob Zaba says more like heave the pussy. I'm wondering that I show that on here and it's not coming up over here. I wonder if YouTube nixed that already. Okay. I wanted to get, because she does play one other issue. Let's see. It's a text messages that, or the tweets that Hammer then went and it basically was coming up to about Trump, like glomming onto the Trump. That's not it. That's not it. Sorry, I didn't have this all ready to go. It might be have been the next day or so. I don't remember when she played those tweets from him. Okay, maybe it was the next day. Either way, we're going to get into it now, giving people plenty enough time to join us, and maybe not. Maybe this is getting shadow banned because of the topic I'm doing here. There we go. Josh Hammer. Look, we're going to play this. Where'd it go? We're going to play this. Every time we talks about his book or his podcast. Okay, so we got to keep track. And do I need to keep a counter? Do I have a pen even in here? Here's a pen. Is it Libertarian Party of California? How funny is that? I don't think I've ever used this pen. Is it even useful? Let's see here. Okay. I got a piece of paper. I've got a receipt here from new pickleball paddle that I bought. Okay, I'm going to keep a tab, and we'll keep that. Okay, let's go here. Josh Hammer responds to Candace Owens' attack on him. I'm also going to try to keep a note of how many times he says defamatory statements about Candace. What are defamatory statements? They're statements made to a third party that are not true, basically. So, and that, opinions are somewhat questionable in there. Anyway,
foreknowledge of, at minimum, and potentially at maximum, was somehow complicit or involved in the murder of my own friend. Of all the holidays in the Hebrew Bible, there is one holiday above all, where the language cannot be clearer. You are commanded to rejoice. You are commanded to be happy.
We're also going to talk about some of this Jew shit. And what I mean by that is this kind of stuff here. You're commanded. It's like, I mean, this is maybe the difference with Christianity, at least my faith part, which is free will, grace. Okay. There's so much, if you watch some of these people with these, those eyes, by the way, it's demonic. If you watch some of these people, the one guy that goes around there and shows you all the Shabbat tricks, how to fool your God. And it's like the relationship must just be odd if you're a Jew. But anyway.
I'm talking about the holiday of Sukkot, known commonly
Thought it was
as
suck
the Feast
it.
of Booths or the Feast of Tabernacles. This was the holiday on the Jewish calendar that began on Monday evening earlier this week. It was a 2-day holiday, lasting from Monday evening until Wednesday evening. Roughly 20 minutes before I turned my phone off this past Monday to begin the Jewish holiday, I started getting some texts. Candace Owens, the one-time Turning Point USA protege, the one-time PragerU personality, one-time Daily Wire podcaster turned outright mental patient. Okay,
there's one, mental patient. So that is quite possibly a actionable comment. That would mean that she is not sane, and he's not a doctor, but he believes that she is. So there's at least there's one comment, mental patient. We're just keeping track here.
Candace Owens had acquired screenshots of a group chat, that I had been in with Charlie Kirk.
And by the way, stuff that he had outright denied, implied earlier, right? And that this was not the case. Charlie was never pulling back. And now it's like, oh, you leave me no choice but to leave the pro-Israeli movement. Okay.
And a handful of others. And all this is going down in the literally final 15, 20 minutes before I power down my phone.
Who cares?
For about 49 to 50 hours or so.
Okay.
So on Wednesday evening, the holiday ends, I turn my phone back on. And lo and behold, I turn my phone back on to see that I am at the epicenter of an insane Candace Owens neo-Nazi conspiracy theory.
Okay, there you go. Neo-Nazi. So he called her a mental patient, and he called her a neo-Nazi. Okay, I mean, these are things that may be actionable. We'll have to figure it out.
Candace Owens doubling down on now a month-long of lunatic allegations.
Okay, lunatic allegations. Okay, we've already seen. We saw that. What's his name? The loser that went on PBD, and they're like, oh, I played the clip where she's like, I have never, and I've watched. I've never, and it's so frustrating having to be like the defend Candace, but I'm really trying to roast people here. She says what she says. She's got to defend herself. But the point is, she's not saying that Israel killed, that's Toad. Toad's saying Israel killed Charlie. Candace hasn't come out and said that, but there you go.
That the Jewish people, the Jews, the state of Israel, all the above, individual Jews, collective Jews, Jewish nation, whatever, just Jews in general, had something to do with the horrific assassination of my friend, Charlie Kirk.
Okay, there you go. So Jews and Israel, these are all the claims that he's making. And these are all things that are actionable by Candace. Jews and Israel killed Charlie. We just mentioned that. That's not what she said. That is outright false. So we're just racking them up here, people. We're racking them up. We're the first 2 minutes 38 seconds, and she's already got 4 actionable statements against him for defamation. That's fantastic.
Again, the juxtaposition, I think, before we get into details here, the juxtaposition to me is striking. Again, this happened right on the eve, in the closing minutes before the holiday of Sukkot, the holiday where...
Who fucking cares? Your Jewish holiday, now, is that actionable? I would not, I bet he would say that it's anti-Semitic that she made these comments about him in the early hours of his Jewish holiday.
We are
That's insanity.
Again, to be happy. We take these ceremonial plants. We call them.
By the way, why are you allowing someone to ruin your religious day? It's up to you how you want to deal with this. Do you have to be involved in this? Okay, it's stressful. It's stressful, the fact that you're called a liar and that that people may think that you're involved in Charlie's death. But hey,
we shake
you
it,
did
we
lie
blow
about a lot of
pots,
stuff.
There is food. There is alcohol. We're celebrating.
Then celebrate.
On Israel Chai, as it says. The Jewish people live. The nation of Israel lives. How do we live? Why do we live?
Who cares?
Because we have our community. We have our rejoicing. We have our God. And we have our Bible.
Notice how God's commanded you, by the way, to rejoice and be happy. And you're such just an evil little man. You can't do it because this poor lady has said some bad words to you. And that to you just can't let that go.
And while we were rejoicing, while I was rejoicing.
You weren't.
With my wife and our beautiful daughter. This demonic figure.
Demonic. I don't know if that is one. Demonic. I don't know if that's actionable. That might just be his opinion, but we'll put it on the list as a possible.
Was dragging me through the mud.
It's true.
Like never before. Alleging that I had some sort of potential foreknowledge of Charlie Kirk's horrific assassination.
Okay, our buddy's telling us to boost the volume here. Let's do that right now. We'll boost this volume up. Thank you. There you go.
The specific screenshot in question shows the day before Charlie Kirk's murder, shows Charlie not happy that a major $2 million donation to Turning Point USA from a prominent Jewish donor had been pulled. And Charlie was not happy about it. He was blowing off steam in the confines of a private chat. He was saying they're going to force me to abandon the pro-Israel cause. He was saying things that people say when they're upset, when they're blowing off steam among friends in a private setting.
Blowing off steam. Okay, so we just saw the boys' chat get released. They're just blowing off steam. That is somehow is a monumental. I don't know that he was just blowing off steam because he not only blew off steam there, he went on Candace and blew off steam. I think it's a much more than blowing off steam, but whatever. We'll just let this loser.
But as the great Dennis Prager once said, especially for someone who is a public-facing figure, you judge that person not by what he or she says in private, not by what he or she thinks in private, or mulls within the confines of the four doors of his home or his office. You judge that public-facing person by what he affirmatively does and how he acts.
A better statement, and I'm trying to remember that it was J.C. Watts from Oklahoma once said, integrity is what a person does in private when no one is around, okay? That is integrity. So it kind of goes in the face of what Prager's saying here, it appears.
Charlie Kirk was blowing off steam that day around 3:30 to 4 p.m. on what proved to be the final 3:30 to 4 p.m. Eastern time of his life that he would ever experience on Tuesday, September 9th. But just 2 hours after that, from 6 to 7 p.m. Eastern time that evening, as has already been reported, the New York Post was all over this story. Other outlets, I've talked about it on my show, The Josh Hammer Show. We had a Zoom call 2 hours after Charlie was blowing off steam from having this major Turning Point USA donation pulled. Who organized that Zoom call? Charlie Kirk. Charlie Kirk and his chief of staff, Mikey McCoy. This Zoom call had 6 of us on it, if memory serves, including yours truly. It was myself, Rabbi Pesach Walicki, who lives in Jerusalem, Charlie, 2 of Charlie's producers, and a 6th person, a Christian theologian, pastor figure of sorts, friend of Charlie. I can't remember his name, neither here nor there. The purpose of this call, this Zoom call from 6 to 7 p.m., the day before Charlie Kirk was tragically murdered. It was the day before Charlie's campus tour began. When Charlie was killed at Utah Valley University on Wednesday, September 10th, that was the first of what was to be a sprawling, lengthy Turning Point USA fall campus tour. Charlie wanted to make sure that he had the best ammunition, the best arguments, when it came to Israel, when it came to the Jewish people, Jewish Christian.
I'm calling bullshit. And the reason I'm calling bullshit is If that's the case, you would have seen him blowing off steam in a text thread somewhere. You would have produced that. It's somehow always conveniently that it. And by the way, this really doesn't matter. Okay, I'll just keep
relations. When it came to defending the West, defending civilization.
Wait, is Israel in the West?
That's what Charlie Kirk was passionate about. The WhatsApp chat that we were in together, I didn't start it. Charlie's producers didn't start it. Charlie Kirk started this chat.
Who cares?
What did he call it? He named this chat himself, Saving Civilization. It's not an accident that Charlie naturally gravitated towards my own book on this topic, Israel and Civilization.
Okay, sorry, I didn't get it. So, cha-chings. Cha-ching. We're doing those, and we've got one so far. Okay, 6, let me see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 possible actionable defamation claims against Josh Hammer from Candace Owens. 1 ka-ching, he mentioned his book. Okay.
Because we both saw this conflict of Judeo-Christian, biblical West versus subjugationist, totalitarian barbarism, most clearly expressed these days by radical Islamism and jihad. We saw this through a civilizational framing. The last time I saw Charlie in person, I signed a copy of that book for him at a retreat in the Hamptons in early August 2025 that Charlie himself appropriately named a Save the West retreat. You get it? The West,
no.
Civilization. That's how he saw it.
Yeah, but Israel's not in the West, so stop it.
That's how I see it. That's how we all saw it in this group chat.
Except for the chat where he said, you leave me no choice. Not that I might. It's that I'm leaving the pro-Israel cause.
So over the course of this hour-long Zoom call the night before Charlie Kirk was murdered,
I bet it was
Charlie
a struggle
peppered us
session.
with all sorts of questions. How do I respond when the crazies accuse Israel of genocide? How do I respond when the crazies say that?
I bet it was, how do I respond when people, not the crazies, when all these kids come up here and say, and talk about genocide? How do I, because you look at the letter, you look at all these little things that he was saying. The reason he was leaving this wasn't just because of, the outright Jewish influence and that they were pulling their money from him. It was that it's hard to defend this thing over there in the Middle East, not the West, the Middle East. I just don't believe everything
that Israel
Josh is
controls the U.S.
And by the way, Josh, you can't take him out as this is, you go to court and someone makes a comment and, the judge has to, or, they're testifying, 2 parties are testifying, and now it's a credibility issue. Which one is more credible? And so if you get them, you can impeach their testimony. Hey, here's what you said previously. That doesn't match with what you're saying now. Now they're not becoming very credible. And if that's the case, if they've lied before, hey, you've got a spouse or girlfriend, boyfriend. They lied to you once about, where they were or whatever. Now everything is up in the air. They could be telling the truth about 9 out of the 10 things, but that one time it throws that trust out. This motherfucker has been lying about this group chat, and now we're supposed to believe that he, the crazies were the ones that Charlie was worried about.
Oh, man,
I don't know.
All these various things. The famine lie.
That, by the way, I just saw Dropsite did it. This is the disingenuousness. It's like, why do you have to do this? Dropsite just did a thing. The Free Republic, trash organization by Barry Weiss. Coleman Hughes works there. It's a bunch of losers. They just got bought out by CBS, I guess, and they're working over there now too. They did a whole thing where they did a breakdown of these different people that they actually weren't, there wasn't a famine going on over there. So Dropsite tried to, I don't know, let's dig into this. There was supposed to be 12 people that they were talking about. They didn't interview a single one, the Free Press, that is. Dropsite was actually able to interview someone. And it's like, okay, look, they're not getting yes. So someone had cerebral palsy and he was supposed to have, vitamins in a diet. Well, food's not coming in. So his condition is getting drastically worse. Now, so therefore there's no famine because he had cerebral palsy or someone had some other issues. Well, it's like, yes, you have to understand you have an underlying problem. And then if there's no food, you're going to be affected a little bit differently, maybe more harshly. Women and children first. You're out in a, the least among us type of, the more injured. You're out in a Donner Party or whatever out there. Maybe you're out and someone's injured, or they have a more, they're susceptible to some sort of disease or whatever. They're going to have a harder time if the food is less. So maybe those people get taken care of. That's the point. So this famine thing, that is a real thing, Josh Hammer, and you may not like it, but it is true.
Information operations, the blood libel. He had all these questions. We were very happy to answer them. If you go on YouTube to kind of get back to this Dennis Prager notion that someone is judged.
And by the way, this is their thing. It's like propaganda. I just know it was a struggle session. You just know it.
Private thoughts by his actions. There is an eternal memory bank. The internet is forever, as they say. There is an eternal memory bank on YouTube and elsewhere of Charlie Kirk doing yeoman's work on campuses to defend the U.S.-Israel relationship and the Jewish-Christian alliance to save the West.
But 48 hours before he was killed, and I'm not saying this is related, I'm just saying that's the time period that we have now, because he only lived another 48 hours, he was leaving the the Israeli cause, pro-Israeli cause. So yes, I've said stuff in the past, I've changed and moved over. This happens. But you don't then get to say, I mean, as an example, well, anyway, everyone understands.
An alliance that he did not merely believe in the abstract, but which he lived out on a day-to-day.
And this is pathetic because we don't know all this about Charlie. All we can say is that there's you guys, the pro-Israeli people are pushing this so hard that when we push back and say, okay, but look, he was making changes in his life and drastic ones, and you can't have it. You can't have an evolving person at all. It is unbelievable.
Basis. How do I know that? Because that was me.
What was you?
I was the Jew in the Jewish-Christian alliance that Charlie Kirk was living. Other Jewish friends, mentors too, Dennis Prager, the late David Horowitz, and on and on. But that was me.
I don't know what that means.
Was the Jew in Charlie Kirk's vision of the Jewish-Christian alliance to save the West.
What? I mean, this is the hubris and the narcissism of this guy is unreal. Are you saying you're like his mythical Jew that he's holding up as an example? This is unbelievable.
Final messages that Charlie Kirk sent to that WhatsApp chat before his tragically truncated life came to an end were thanking us. We're thanking us so much for preparing him to face the inevitable incoming tsunami of Jews.
You can easily show those messages. Just show those messages. You've already lied so much. Just show those messages. Charlie came to me in my dreams, and I was the Jew. Good job, David.
Hate. And general Western civilization hate. And Marxism and all the various other maladies that threaten to subjugate and overrun this civilization from within and from beyond. He was deeply thankful for what we had discussed on that hour. That was literally the final thing he said in that chat. I responded to him and I said, "You're welcome. Feel free to reach out over the course of this tour. Always happy to do this again. By the way, where is your first event tomorrow?" And he said, "Utah Valley U!" ! And
you should have known that if you were the Jew. Though.
Tragically, that was where an assassin's bullet, not from the Jews, not from Mossad.
We don't know. It's pretty brazen for him to just say that. We don't know.
No, from a radically indoctrinated left-wing, furry fetishist, transgender adjacent lunatic. That was where Charlie Kirk met that transgender adjacent furry fetishist assassin's bullet and met his maker. Candace Owens, over the course of the days that I was off this week, didn't just take this blowing off steam of Charlie Kirk responding to the $2 million donation pulled. No, Candace was not content to merely just take that and just rip it out of context and say, "Oh my God, Josh Hammer, Pastor Rob McCoy," literally Charlie's spiritual mentor. Candace, I mean, this is how demonic this woman is. It's actually...
Okay, we've got two demonics, so far.
Not just the Jews she's coming after. She's coming after an amazing evangelical Christian pastor, Rob McCoy, Charlie's lifelong spiritual mentor. So Candace is saying, "Oh, Josh Hammer, Pastor Rob McCoy." They're totally misrepresenting Charlie's position on Israel. Which, again, as I've just demonstrated, we're literally not. But Candace...
You didn't demonstrate it. By the way, this guy is someone who, I checked, he did pass the bar. He registered, I think it was in Texas, and he had clerked for a judge. I don't have any, I haven't been able to show that he actually did anything real. I've said this before. I'm sorry. Clerking for a judge, that's nice. You get the little behind the scenes, but you are not in the mix actually being an attorney. You see way too much of this. Will Chamberlain's another. It's just infiltrated with right and left that do this, where they never experience real life as an attorney, having to do all the billing, having to get clients, having to take someone in and work on the issues and whatnot. He did not demonstrate. He did not demonstrate anything. He testified to something that he wanted to produce. Show me some fucking evidence, okay? I don't trust you. We've already impeached your integrity because we were able to show that you lied about the group chat in general. You know, now it's come out what it actually said about, you know, him leaving Charlie leaving the Israel cause. You haven't shown us anything. You are not a very good, you're like Mark Levin attorney right now. What he's just like ranting and raving and you're just like, you're an attorney? How do you, it blows my mind.
Owens was not content to just stop there.
We don't know if she was. You can't read her mind.
On, I believe, the second day of our 2-day holiday, again, I kind of came onto this tsunami.
Who cares?
Of insanity, so it was a little hard for me to sift out what happened when. I believe it was on the second day of our holiday that Candace found a tweet of mine from around the time of Charlie's death and used it as a way of alleging that I had some sort of foreknowledge.
Alleging. Now, I probably need to go back and find her comments of that because I don't think that she did. She just was like, this is odd. And then she goes through his tweets and is like, he's not, everyone's saying it's this Ivana person, Irana, the chick was killed by the black guy on cut the throat. And so she tries to go back and see if he's made any comments about that. And he hadn't really done much. She did get acknowledged that he had at one point talked openly about public executions. So anyway, let's keep going.
The tweet in question was of an old post of Donald Trump's from a long time ago talking about public executions. I think it might even go back as far as the Joker Sonea of Boston Marathon bombing in 2013. That tweet, as happens on social media, started making the rounds among conservative influencers in the context of the horrific, brutal murder of Irina Zarutska, the Ukrainian refugee on the light rail in Charlotte.
Now, what he could do, I'm telling him how to be an attorney here. What you can easily do is, at the time, show that there were tweets that it was going around. Easily done. Here's one. Here's a tweet that shows it was going around, and that's what got my attention. But he didn't do that, so we just have to take his word for it.
A tragedy that went down, or at least was made public for the first time in the week or two prior to Charlie Kirk's assassination. So a lot of people started quote tweeting this and retweeting this post there. I happen to be an unapologetic, longtime proponent of the firing squad method of execution and or potentially, in really extreme circumstances, public executions.
Well, he's supporting what's going on over in Gaza, so no shit. I bet he would support publicly executing young kids in the West Bank if a settler wants to. Probably that.
I've said this for years. For a very simple and defensible reason.
Be proud of it. Be proud of it, yeah.
Which is that if the state is going to take a human life, which is a fraught topic, I'm not going to get into the whole death penalty debate on today's show. Fine, I think reasonable minds can absolutely disagree on that question. Totally. I totally see both sides, especially from a pro-life perspective, and I'm a staunch pro-lifer or nothing else. But the point is that if the state is going to take...
I think Dave Smith proved at the Turning Point event with him that he's not pro-life. I mean, that would be...
Take a life.
What's up, JC?
What is the purpose of doing so behind closed doors with this drug cocktail? Rather, it seems to me that the state is going to take a life. You want it to be clear the state is taking a life. Again, holding aside morality of that overarching question, but when you get there, when you cross that threshold question, it seems to me that public executions are actually not a crazy idea. Certainly Donald Trump thought that. So I was quoting that and said based. And this was in the context, obviously, as was abidingly clear by my tweets throughout that news cycle, throughout that day, was obviously about the murderer of Irina Zarutska, someone who had a...
I don't think so. And from what Candace showed, then just show it. You just put up a tweet a little bit ago. You showed what Candace did. Just show how it's so obvious. Because, I mean, to give her some credit, she did do some, like, a little bit of research to see why this was the case and whether you had been tweeting constantly all day about this. And I don't know. It doesn't matter. I don't think it has anything to do with anything other than it was just odd that this happened to come out the day before Charlie was killed. it has nothing really to do with, I don't think you had anything to do with it other than you're just a slime ball. And it does make you, when you lie about something so easy.
15 arrest long rap sheet who obviously never in a million years should be on the streets. That's what I was talking about. That's what someone like a Charlie Kirk would have been talking about. Charlie was very much a pro-death penalty person. So Candace Owens takes this and starts to imply that I was foreshadowing Charlie Kirk's assassination, because that was a public assassination.
Was she?
So the implication
is
that I had foreknowledge of, at minimum, and potentially at maximum, was somehow complicit or involved in the murder of my own friend. A murder that I was openly, bitterly weeping over for days.
I don't know about that.
The day after the murder, when I was recording my show, the Josh Hammer Show.
Oh, sorry. The Josh Hammer Show. Two ka-chings we got going on there. So
I broke down crying during the recording for the very first time in the history of my show. It was an unconscionable act of depravity. I've never had a friend murdered, ever, let alone murdered in such public, high-profile fashion.
Go touch grass. Get out there. Make some new friends.
And because Candace Owens has a big platform, which is disturbing in and of itself, her show.
Okay, so disturbing. She has a platform. I mean, that's more of an opinion. I will say there, and I don't think that's actionable, but we'll just throw it on there. It goes along with demonic.
The show is so big. The trolls have just been utterly through the roof. Now, I have thick skin. I don't particularly care.
He doesn't have thick skin, or he wouldn't have complained that she was doing this on Suck It, his holy holiday of rejoicing.
But I think it's worth just talking a little bit more about just how off the rails demonic this woman has become. Let's go ahead and watch a clip of.
Okay, off the rails demonic. I'm sorry, I'm just keeping all track of all the possible. I mean, I would include these if I was to do a defamation suit. I would do this, and make him prove that these were not just opinions, right? So, or that these were just opinions.
Of Candace Owens talking to me on her show while I was offline celebrating the holiday of Sukkot earlier this week.
You have to be someone that is, or maybe rather someone that is possessed by something that is less than human, subhuman, to do that. There's no humanity in you. That is why I named Josh Hammer. I believe he is a deeply disturbed man. Filth. Okay? Absolute filth. I don't understand it. I can't comprehend it. Whatever that is that lives in him does not live in me. There's no truth in him. Obviously, there's no truth in Josh Hammer. I know we won't get answers from you, but let me promise you that if I get a text message to the effect that you were somehow involved in him feeling anxiety the day before, if you did something that gave him anxiety in that way, I will release it instantly. There will be no place that you can hide.
So notice how it goes from she accused me of killing Charlie Kirk too. Her statement there is, yeah, you're a filth. And by the way, you've said she's a mental patient. She's a neo-Nazi. She makes lunatic allegations. She's blamed the Jews in Israel for killing Charlie. She's demonic 2 times. Disturbed that she even has a platform, and she's off the rails demonic. So that's 3 times he said. So don't get mad that she then says you're also demonic and you're less than human. I'm sorry, you're trading barbs and you have thick skin. Remember, you have thick skin. Let's see how Mr. Thick Skin Scaled Man takes this.
Filth.
Yes.
Subhuman.
Yes, you said mental patient, neo-Nazi, lunatic, demonic, and disturbing that she has a platform. Whatever. Are you a pussy? This is Nick Fuentes. And no offense to Nick Fuentes, who we played some stuff on earlier, which is you go on Candace's show. He at least sat there. They had a little disagreement, and he doesn't push back. And then he goes when he's not there, and his pussy bleeds and his butthole bleeds, and he cries and complains. At least with Dave Smith, it was a better thing. By the way, Dave's a man. And Dave's not going to put up with that. She's a woman. She's arguing like a woman, and you acted like one as well. Josh Hammer, just like Nick, probably worse though, is very much feminine here. I mean, sorry. The hairy chest, the low-cut T-shirt with the jacket. No offense, but Don Johnson and Miami Vice are not in style anymore, Hermit.
Again, I want to take us back to the beginning of today's conversation. Because the moral dichotomy, the juxtaposition here is just so stark and so obvious, and simultaneously so revealing. Candace Owens calling me filth and subhuman, that there is no truth within me. Simultaneously, while I am literally offline, because I am doing my best as an observant Jew.
It blows my mind. I mean, and do I need to, maybe we'll pause it here. 1823, let's see how many times, I can't go back. This is where, if you have drops, you would throw them in where he says she's a mental patient, she's a neo-Nazi, she's lunatic allegations, she's demonic, and she's off the rail demonic, and she has who just said what are we taking notes of? Okay, thank you for asking. So here's my notes. I am taking notes of all the claims he's making that are actionable, probably defamation. I'm also keeping track of all the times he mentions his book, his podcast, anything that makes it go. There you go. So that's what we're taking notes of. So getting chrism when you're on vacation is inappropriate. No. It was his suck it holiday. It was a religious holiday. So that is what it is. What are we drinking tonight? Thank you for asking. I'm back on the booze. The colonoscopy, rough times, people. Check the Wednesday show for details. Union Jack Firestone Walker IPA. It's pretty solid. My wife has tacos downstairs. She just picked up, so we're ready for that. Accurate physiognomy. Oh, no, let's keep going.
To quite literally live out the capital T truth, meaning the prescriptions and the mandates of the Hebrew Bible, the Torah, by being...
Notice how he can't celebrate his God. Someone is getting in between him and his religion. Now, his religion is, I think it's a little bit cracked. And what I mean by that is the relationship he has with God is a rules-based, right? So I don't believe that's how my that isn't how my relationship is. But he tricks God all the time with his little, Sabbath stuff. And so this is another one where he can't do something because everyone around him must adhere. We talk about the woke right and all that kind of stuff, right? Where you need a safe space. He needs a religious safe space to be able to worship. He can't have Candace out there making accusations on his socket.
Offline and spending family time
Someone
and
clip that.
rejoicing with my wife, our daughter, and our friends. If that is subhuman or filth to you, Candace Owens, then you have so egregiously inverted morality from...
This is... So now he's being a lawyer on this, which is he's lying, okay? So he's saying that he just said it there, that he's on this thing, she's calling him filth, and his filth, he's implying that her saying he was taking a religious holiday is his filth. That's what he tried to imply right there. Just notice that, okay? These losers.
Immorality, good from bad, evil from righteousness. That not only do you not belong.
By the way, Mr. Lex Gurr, sukkot is how it looks like it's spelled. Sukkot is how he pronounces it. I don't know. I'm not the expert. I don't think he's the expert either. I'm going with sukkot.
Camera. Sending your deranged satanic rants to the various far corners of the internet.
Wait, I'm going to go back here.
In front of a camera. Sending your deranged satanic rants to the very...
Satanic. She's satanic rant. There you go. That's another one. I mean, I'm putting not just defamation claims, but they're also just insults, unnecessary insults without provocation.
Various far corners of the internet. You have been so far off the rails. She first started going down the rabbit hole about 3 years ago to the day, almost. In October 2022. That was when Kanye West started making his first neo-Nazi, pro-Hitler comments. And Candace Owens, at the time, had a show
By the way, I can't say that's an inaccurate statement. Okay, when he, I can't say that Kanye neo-Nazi. I can't say that's an inaccurate statement.
For the Daily Wire starts doubling down, defending Kanye West. I was actually one of the very rare people at that time to start calling Candace Owens out immediately and say that she should go, and that the Daily Wire, where I used to work years ago, the Daily Wire ought to fire her. Go back and look at the show archives. Go back and look at the Josh.
You're saying that I thought he was going to say, look, I was one of the people that said she can say whatever she wants. No. You've got to fire her. This guy he's woke. This is what it is. I'm sorry. You can't associate with people. This whole woke right thing bothers the fuck out of me. And the reason is because with the, Constantine's, this motherfucker, and some of those others, when they're like, James Lindsay, hey, the woke right. What do the woke people want to do? They want you to not have a platform. They don't want you to have jobs, We're not, because I know that they would include me on this. We're not doing that. I'm not saying he shouldn't have a job. Fine. Listen to him, whatever. I'm just saying, why are you so involved in what another country, Israel, is doing? Why are they so involved? That's what they think is woke, but they're the ones doing everything to shut you. Their tactics are, it's the Olympics of diversity and who is most aggrieved and most aggressed on. It is now, I'm a Jew, therefore look at me, woe is me, and you need a safe space. It's unbelievable stuff. And you know what the great thing is? Next Friday, I'm having on Mary Fagan Keene, who is the great grandniece, I think, of Mary Fagan, who was killed by the Jew Leo Frank, and it started with the ADL. She's coming on here, and we're going to talk about this stuff some more. So there you go. Get your fill next week as well. And I don't have anything against Jewish people. I'm just throwing that out there. But when this is the shit that happens, it's disturbing. If my religion was doing this to people, I would just be doing everything I could to not be a part of that. You know, you had the Pope just going out there and basically blessing a thing of ice because it's like climate change. And you're like, what is going on? Okay, this is where we're at now.
Show archives from October 2022. I believe we did multiple episodes on it.
That's
but whatever
disturbing.
she was saying back then just got orders of magnitude worse. As soon as October 7th happened. Literally started liking tweets on Twitter before Elon Musk hid the likes on that website. She was liking tweets promoting the old medieval, the literal OG, actual medieval blood libel. The fanatical notion pushed around the time of the Black Death in medieval Europe that Jews would kill Christian babies and use their blood to bake Passover matzah, one of the most insidious, vile lies.
This is about liking tweets now?
That led to the wanton slaughter.
You quote tweeted Trump saying public execution, and then your guy gets killed. I can't make an inference there, but she liked the tweet. I don't even know what it is. Throw it up on the screen. At this point, your credibility is shot with being able to prove anything. So
of thousands and thousands and thousands of innocent Jews. She was liking tweets like that.
Oh my God, liking tweets,
demeaning
people.
All sorts of Jews in the most despicable, debasing, degrading way.
Like what? Like what?
And Candace.
Let's go back there, because is he talking about Rabbi Shmuley? Is that who you're talking about? And then that other rabbi that came on her show and was despicable? Those are the people? Is that who you're talking about?
Despicable, debasing, degrading way.
Wait, I got to go back. Sorry.
Of Jews in the most demeaning, all sorts of Jews in the most despicable, debasing, degrading way.
How? Tell us.
And Candace, sadly, even though she's really far out there, there are a lot of people who are her fellow traffickers these days, her fellow travelers.
Yeah.
Tucker Carlson says a lot of the same stuff in a slightly more guarded fashion. In fact, Tucker went there very soon after Charlie's death when it came to just asking questions about Israel and Mossad. What did they know?
So?
Even Megyn Kelly a couple weeks ago, horrifically referring to Candace Owens as brilliant. Megyn, I've been on your show. Megyn, you had me on your show numerous times.
This guy is the ultimate gatekeeper. I give Dave... and by the way, you know people you don't agree with that are very smart, okay? And it's horrible to say that kind of stuff? right? I think Megyn Kelly's smart. I think Michael Moynihan, who I ripped apart a few weeks ago, who's on the Fifth Column, he's brilliant. Okay, but I don't necessarily, just because I say he's smart or he's intelligent, what does that mean? Sometimes it means that they get over on people like you.
After October 7th, we had one heartfelt, hour-plus long conversation.
Oh, Jesus, just stroke
about
each other?
The utter depravity of October 7, 2023, and the war that was soon to commence in Gaza. About Middle East geopolitics, Iran, Qatar. It was a wonderful conversation.
Oh, wonderful conversation about war.
Megan, is Candace Owens brilliant?
Yes.
For accusing me of complicity in the assassination of our mutual friend Charlie Kirk?
Why don't you play the quote of her doing that? You did a quote of her saying you were filth. Play the quote where she said you were complicit.
Is Candace Owens brilliant for calling Emmanuel Macron's wife a dude?
Yes, actually.
We live in very difficult times.
You need to watch that
and
series.
in those difficult times, there is a rush to question everything. It's one of the symptoms of our age, is that the breakdown in trust from authorities and elites. There is this overarching need to just sow the seeds of doubt in every bit of information that comes across the transom. Maybe sometimes you should pinch yourself. You should walk outside. You should touch some grass. You should go to church. You should go to synagogue. You should open up some scripture as no less a Christian than Charlie Kirk himself would have urged you in no uncertain terms to do. You should spend time with your family. You should observe the Sabbath, something else that Charlie Kirk would have urged you to do. In fact, he had a whole book set to be released posthumously this December about that topic. As Andrew Colvett, the executive producer of the Charlie Kirk Show and a longtime personal friend of mine, as Andrew himself said on Chris Cuomo's television show earlier this week, Israel obviously had nothing to do with Troy's assassination. I obviously, no one other.
By the way, then you've got to, this guy wants to police everybody. You don't want to have any kind of association, yet he's quoting Andrew Clevet, or whatever his name is, going on the Andrew Cuomo show, one of the most despicable people you can imagine, right? I ripped Patrick Bet-David, not because he hired this guy, but because he hired this guy. And what I mean by that is Patrick Bet-David is trying to be out there as some sort of like, look at us, we've got the best people, we're da-da-da-da-da. No one does business like me. I'm Trump of the podcast world, blah, blah, blah. I'm hiring Andrew Cuomo to be on my network. And I'm just like, yeah, because you fucking suck. You're pyramid schemes. You've got, what's his noodle on there? Vinny's like the only one I like, and he's not super bright, but he's pretty good. Right? Because he questions things and he doesn't take Israel at face value. It's America first by that. Anyway, so this guy himself is just, you quote Cuomo, that's fine, but not, I mean, the dude that really wanted to suppress everybody during the pandemic and was lying to everybody, there you go.
And the person in custody, a radical left-wing indoctrinated ex-Mormon who gets radicalized on campus, is in a romantic relationship.
But here's the great part. You're a conservative, so you get to say these kind of things. He was radicalized on campus. That's what he said. That's what we've heard. But I think that when we broke this down earlier, it was like he spent a quarter, like 3 months, in like going to engineering school. How are you getting radicalized there on campus? You're not. So you don't know that these are facts. It's just easy to say them because it's right-wing methodology to demonize the little things you have. Now have the power to do it, which could I don't agree with any of those concepts, trends and all that kind of crap. And yes, colleges can indoctrinate your kids. I get it, but he just says it as fact, and we're just like, there you go.
Relationship with a transgender roommate decides to equate speech with
boyfriend,
violence,
not
as
roommate.
Many in the academy teach, promulgate, and earnestly believe with every fiber of their being, and then decides to act out against transgender skeptical speech of Charlie Kirk with a horrific, irrevocable act of politically motivated violence. That's all that happened here. It is disgusting.
It's not all that happened, because why are we having this conversation right now? We are having this conversation right now because Netanyahu immediately comes out and tries to position Charlie for some sort of legacy that was in conflict. He, Josh Hammer, the squinty-eyed guy over here on my left, he then decides that Is my right? My left? Yeah. He then decides that he's going to double down and starts lying about it. Then texts come out. If you weren't such a piece of shit, this wouldn't be an issue. This wouldn't be an issue. But you lied, and now you're coming home to roost.
Beyond measure that I am here doing this video in the first place.
Yes, it's stupid because you're a faggot.
Frankly.
Yeah.
It is loathsome that Candace Owens and some fellow travelers start saying all sorts of other crazy stuff about this Hampton.
That is a career-ending slur. It is a
yeah, bitch.
Retreat I mentioned in early August, where there was an alleged intervention from Bill Ackman, or maybe my friend Seth Dillon, the CEO of the Babylon Bee, when it comes to Charlie Kirk and Israel. Guess what? I was there the whole time. There was no intervention. It is a bold-faced lie. It is loathsome that...
By the way, you're not providing anything, and I'm going to say this till the cows come home, and hopefully they do come home at some point. We can't trust what you're saying because you've lied to us, and we've been able to prove you lied to us. So there you go.
That lie spread. It is even more loathsome that the lies this week spread. And it is triply loathsome that the lies this week spread while I was offline, rejoicing as the Bible commands me to do.
This guy is, by the way, when you look at like the anti-Semitism law, by the way, California, I think just passed one here, so I might be in trouble. But no, they passed like some sort of school czar that's going to police it in public schools or something like that. But when you get guys like this that want Candace, fired for whatever, anti-Semitic laws that are being passed in 32 different states, right? The IHRA's version of what anti-Semitism is. It's a fluid situation, much like the trannies and this guy's gender, I imagine, as well. When you get guys like this that want to just punish, and it's disturbing and it's concerning. Okay, you have to be able to take guard against people like him because they will come after you. I want to go back here just a little bit because what he said was important to me.
When it comes to Charlie Kirk and Israel, guess what? I was there the whole time. There was no intervention. It is a bold-faced lie. It is loathsome that lie spread. It is even more loathsome that the lies this week spread. And it is triply loathsome that the lies this week spread while I was offline, rejoicing as the Bible commands me to do.
That's what I wanted to say, which is his life is so much more important than yours. I've had to make this argument last few times, which is I had to doing a custody issue, and the mom, she believes her rights are paramount to opposing to my client, right? That her life and we all feel that way, but not when it comes to parents and their abilities with the kids. This guy believes that I don't care, and this, you can see this with the reactions to what he said earlier about Islam and any kind of other faiths. Your faith is shit. Mine is paramount, and how dare you not know that I'm observing it? I mean, it's astounding the narcissism that this gentleman has.
With my beautiful wife and my beautiful daughter.
Okay.
Twisted woman, Candace Owens.
Okay, so sick.
I sincerely...
Sick, twisted. We got to put that on here. Sick and twisted. Okay. He did say woman, so that's at least positive.
I hope your husband, George, and his esteemed family see you for what you are and get you the help that you so desperately need.
Okay, she needs help. Okay.
I hope that.
By the way, it is a little. I mean, his gloves are off, which is fine. But you can't come on a show like this and say like, she called me filth. She said I was less than human, and then go on there and go like, your husband needs to get you help, woman. Now, look, I get that, but coming from this guy, I mean, you can't be so misogynistic and say that men need to take care of the women, right?
That Brigitte Macron bankrupts you.
Oh,
with her defamation lawsuit.
Oh, okay. Hopes this is Macron bankrupts. This is actually evil, but we'll do it. Yeah, that deserves one of those.
We are certainly already looking into legal action on our end as well.
No, you're not. I mentioned this before. You are not doing that. Why? Why are you not doing that? Okay, we've seen this with multiple cases, but one very good case we saw, which was Blake Lively and what's the guy's name? And Candace was covering that one as well. Text messages are discoverable, right? We saw this with Karen Reed. That's a criminal thing, but civil. You want to have this text thread. You want to have this telegram, everything that you've had with Charlie, because that's how it would come in. It's the claim that, he caused harm and da-da-da with Charlie. Okay, fine. We're going to be all of it. You want that? You want that out there? Mr. I don't know. This guy's got to be like 5'2", right?
And you are just the worst of the worst. But in closing, I'm not going to let...
Wait, I didn't write that one down. Worst of the worst. Okay. I should have timestamped these so then I can go back and just clip them. Worst of the worst. Mental patient, neo-Nazi. We'll cap him at the end.
My holiday.
Oh, Jesus.
But in closing, I'm not going to let you ruin my holiday.
You already did. But you know what? I bet he gets some of this out of it. And there you go. That will make any Hebrew much happier about their ruined holiday, because this is their true God.
We're currently in the middle of what are known on the Jewish calendar as Chol HaMoed, as the secular days of the sacred. The middle days before we come back next week for the final 2 days.
How am I supposed
of
to
this extended fall holiday period? This is still a holy time on the calendar. In other words, we are still commanded during these days to rejoice.
Okay, so he's commanded right now to rejoice. However, he called her a mental patient, a neo-Nazi, lunatic allegations. He said that Jews in Israel killed Charlie Kirk, that she made that claim. That's actually defamatory statement there. Demonic, disturbing that she even has a platform. She's off the rails demonic. She goes on satanic rants. She's sick and twisted. She needs help. Her husband, George, needs to get her help. He hopes that Macron bankrupts her, and she is the worst of the worst. But he is not having his vacation or his holiday ruined, and he is still in the middle of suck it. No, he's in a different one, hell, something or else, that he's still commanded to rejoice. And this is how he's rejoicing. God damn it.
So I'm still rejoicing.
There you go. He's still rejoicing.
Honestly, look in the mirror. Can you honestly look at your husband? Honestly look at your life's work to date?
She will.
And conclude that you are happy? That you are rejoicing?
Yeah, because she's not. Once again, I'm not here defending Candace. I'm just saying, I imagine with all her kids and their money and what's going on and the show's blowing up, she's just fine. She's probably sad she lost Charlie. Maybe you are too. I'll give you that. But why does it, this is so little. Remember, we've got almost 26 minutes, 54 seconds. What proof did he ever show other than him just telling you? There's text messages out there. There's clips out there. He could have done a nice little attorney little breakdown of everything. Instead, he wanted to talk about socket.
That you're satisfied and that you are actually living out the capital T truth in a way that is accountable to your maker, to my maker, to the master of the universe? I feel pretty confident, actually, in my answer. I'm sincerely doubtful that you can do the same.
The Josh Hammer show. Oh, that's another. We've got the. Okay. What do you rejoice in, Josh? Sure doesn't sound like it's God. No, he doesn't. By the way, this is what he rejoices in. No, that's not what he. I would click on. That's what he rejoices in. He rejoices in the almighty dollar. I would imagine. Okay, so I think that's pretty much what we have today. It's been an hour on us. Next week, I may do a Monday, Wednesday, Friday show. Okay, I'm definitely doing the Friday show with Mary Fagan Keene. Come back here. I'm going to talk to you guys about Leo Frank. We're going to talk about coming up stuff because the ADL is still pushing things. So this is the ultimate expert for that. So we're going to talk to her about that kind of stuff. Wednesday, it's the legal show. I think we'll play this, the cam footage of this Ajonovich in the sexting in Vegas there. I got some other legal things. We'll probably do anyway, come back to us. There we go. 80s teen spirit. I hope you enjoyed tonight's show. I can't predict how these shows are going to go as far as like viewership. I'm working hard, people. I'm doing what I can to bring it in. The viewership is kind of there and then it's not. I don't know what to do. I don't know. I saw Legal Mindset do a show today. I think this one is better produced. I think this host gives you more, but for some reason we're just lagging in the doldrums. We need to do a little better. Hope to see you on the next one. I'm doing a different outro this time. Love y'all. See you next time. Have a great weekend. Out.
But she's back.
And now.
Tyler, if you had any clout about you, if you had any like knowledge of the real world of what happens, we walk into Tim Catt's studio, immediately there's 4 Jewish lawyers.
King of the Druids!
Oh, that's all we needed. A Jewish princess.
Yeah, so I mean, I don't expect the normies like Tyler to understand these kind of things. He's just a podunk lawyer somewhere in like rural California. He's an idiot, really.
Takes a tough man to make a tender forecast, Nick.
I guess that's me.
Keep fucking that chicken.
This guy's, I wouldn't say he's full of shit, but I'd say he's stupid. Whatever, if you're in the comments, if you're in the chat now, I wouldn't pay attention to anything he says anyway. But
more or less, eat shit and die.
Don't ever come to Top Left. He will end you. Do you see what he just did to Tyler? Just fucking challenge this
Tyler's
entire.
done.
Top is a maniac.
He can't even reply right now because he's crippled.
He's got nothing to say.
What are you talking about? I didn't say that. Why don't you argue with something I said, you dumb bastard?